Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another day of the Heroic League. I'm Rapterra, joined here by Torres, and we've got Team Spear versus In the Trees to get you started for today. How you doing, Torres?
Doing all right, Rap. Ready to get into this game. Looks like we have a. This game is really gonna make or break the standings right now. It's the first game of the day. INT is actually sitting in second place, but it's a three-way tie right now with Falcon and BBC. Even though they're not necessarily heading off against one of those teams, taking a win here will put them ahead of the pack.
Yeah, and getting a little bit ahead, getting that better placement is all the more important, especially as we get closer towards the playoffs. No one wants to be in a position right now to have to face UB early on in the playoffs. You want to get second or third place so you can play them as late as possible, like possibly just in the final. But this is a big game for I'd say INT to kind of separate themselves from the pack to show that they can indeed get the momentum to get themselves back to the top of the league where I know they feel they belong.
Yeah, as we talk a lot about INT, it's also a big game for Team Spear. Is there's really just this power scaling, whereas the middle of the top team is obviously UB, and then there's the second place team's three-way tie, but also just for playoff seeding for Team Spear to even like could potentially get into playoffs, because we know Team Spear, Team Sword, and TAS are all sitting at that 3-6 record as well.
Yeah, and with only 6 teams going to the playoffs, it's basically between those 3 right now to decide which of them is going to go home and which one of them is going to make it to the postseason. So every win does matter at this point. And starting it off, we've got a Lee Sin out here, and I personally think that's Lee Sin top, which I'm really excited to see.
I am excited to see that. The Lee Sin first pick blind. If anyone watched the MSI games this weekend, maybe Cloud9 versus Damwon Gaming, we saw the Fudge Factory taking over that game against Damwon. I'm really excited to see if Orphic can play this. He's been one of their star players on Team Spear, and putting him on something like blind, but still a hard carry, like the Lee Sin on the top side of the map. We'll see how much pressure he can put onto the team of INT.
Yeah, and as we've had a lot of people in the league talking about Orphic. He is considered one of the best top laners in the league right now. So, if there's anybody that can make this work, I think it's him. But we'll have to see if the comp around him can really enable that, because Lee Sin, it's going to build a lot of damage in the top lane. It's going to be a little bit heavier on that than like a tank Lee Sin that you see maybe in the jungle. It will get more items, but that's going to be, I think, the major factors. Is he going to get those item break points? Does he have the team around him to help him like finish off kills? And so far it's looking good for that. They've got a lot of stuns between the Anivia and the Braum. We'll have to see how they finish that up in their comp.
Yeah, we'll see how it's rounded out. Something I want to note is that INT has opted in for more of a poke kind of skirmish kind of team comp right now. They first picked the Varus, followed up by the Morgana. That Morgana can always be flex picked into the jungle, mid, or even in the support lane. Probably won't be the mid due to the Castle being picked up. But I mean, Varus Morgana is not a bad lane. Probably going to be the jungle. But something I want to point out is the Varus is actually not something we've seen Kenny Hammerspike on very often.
Yeah, Kenny generally, they put him on more hyper carry, something more that like he can kind of pop off on. Varus, I mean, it's more of, I guess it's more of like like a long term AD carry. It's either about poking through to start off a fight, or just kind of sustain DPS throughout it. Not like a super amount of damage, but enough to like, if you let him live long enough, he's gonna eventually destroy something. So I think that is interesting to say. It is definitely looking more like they're looking to set up Evolve Noob in the mid lane with that Cassidon. He's got to take some time to get that online. So giving him as much CC, allowing him to maybe catch someone out, letting them catch someone out, let him pop off and just pop them instantly. That can be a pretty big deal for this team. And a Vi. Ooh, I'm very excited for this. We don't see that often.
Yeah, that could either be the jungler or the top lane. I know the interactions, because I'm a jungler, the interaction with Vi is not very good into the Lee Sin. I mean, the Vi is favored into the Lee Sin, so it might be a top lane Vi. A little peculiar pick coming out, but I mean, it could work.
Yeah, and maybe INT knows something that we don't, especially with the jungle changes that just dropped this morning. There's some pretty big changes to jungling. Maybe they've been practicing prepping for it on the PV. Maybe they've gotten an idea that Vi is the solution here. This is a good pick for this situation. But seeing in the top lane would be nice too, as we see Spear continue the Freljord comp. The Lee Sin, has kind of ruined the full Freljord, but for the most part, it's pretty Freljord. And actually, it's a Wukong, so I think that might actually be Lee Sin jungle.
Yeah, it might be a Lee Sin jungle, probably going for like kind of a skill matchup kind of thing. Maybe they picked it first just as a flex. They didn't like the lane assignments. Because especially if that Vi is the top laner, you don't want to be playing that Lee Sin into it. That early game is just too hard for you to get through. But something
Yeah,
that's really peculiar around the INT comp is that they've kind of picked for a late game scaling comp where they have like, but they also picked the Vi for skirmish, which it makes me think that they're just playing for themselves. It's not much of a team comp mesh together.
yeah. The most I see out of the INT comp is it's trying to get a big pick really quick at a fight, hit a Morgana Q or a Varusol, and just immediately pile on whatever that is to hopefully just blow one of Spear out of the water and make it so it's just a 4v5 fight that they can take. But there's a lot of disengage on the side of Spear too. You've got the Lee Sin kick, you've got the Anivia wall, the Braum ult, you got an Ashe arrow. You can use Wukong to kind of get his ult going there too. It's going to be a lot, I think, about who can max utilize their ultimates more than most games. I think even just the AD carries, they're not really hyper carries, not going to be getting lots of basic attacks, like a lot of damage with those basic attacks, and they'll probably get blown up at the beginning of a fight. So it's going to be about the ult usage, I think, to really decide this game.
Yeah, another thing I want to point out is that I think it's going to come down to the junglers in the early game pathing. Morgana has such a fast clear. Depending if no, it won't be a Morgana jungle, but regardless, it'll come down to jungle pathing and how the speed and the ganks dictate the game. Because if INT goes late, they will end up winning. But overall, team composition wise, I think Team Spear's comp is better. And if they are able to get through the early and mid game, I think that they'll probably stomp it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kassadin is that hit level 11 game, I mean level 16 games over kind of champion. So if it does go long enough, I agree. I think they'll take it, but I think it'll depend on how fast Spear gets going. So I'm a little indecisive right now. I probably would give the edge slightly to INT, but we'll have to see how that gets going as we get onto the Rift for our first game of the day. And it's looking like a pretty solid start right now. But while we're waiting for things to kind of, get settled in, see where everyone's going to be at, what's going to be standard or not, I want to ask you, Tor, since you are a jungle main, what do you think of all the jungle changes that went through this morning? How do you think that's going to affect the game?
Be honest, I have not been playing League of Legends that often, that much in the recent patches. I saw the jungle changes and I went, nope, I'm done with this game. I will play ARAMs. Uh, bad time to ask, but I mean, from what
That's
I
fair.
saw and what I was reading about, I think there could be a lot of major complaints from the jungle remains. I mean, I'm one to complain and voice my own opinions about these jungle changes. Personally, I don't like them, but in the end, Riot's probably not going to listen. They will
Mhm.
keep going with it, and they'll get changed somewhere down the line. But it's more of a compensation thing where the junglers will just get used to it.
That's fair. As someone who's been playing jungle a bit more lately, but still is more like a support player, I've enjoyed it a lot. But I mean, to be fair, I play Zac when I'm in the jungle usually, and sometimes Morgana and Rumbles. So for me, it's fun because I get to just power farm and don't have to worry about if I get behind. If I try for a gank, that I won't be able to out smite someone. So it makes me feel like I'm on an advantage, like I'm on even ground with other junglers.
Yeah.
But I could see why jungle mains would dislike it a lot. But so far it's looking pretty solid for these two junglers. Nothing really changed that much. I'd say maybe the clears looking a little bit cleaner for these two. Big Brain and Bow Explode already pretty healthy off at the start of this as Orphic and Broccoli just kind of dueling it out right there in the top lane. Vi Wukong, that's not a matchup we see very often. I think I don't think I've ever actually seen that matchup.
Yeah, from what I was guessing, what I was saying earlier, I think that INT thought the Lee Sin was a top lane matchup in which the Vi would have been a counter pick to the Lee Sin. But in the end, Team Spirit just kind of shakes it up and picks the Wukong, uses that Lee Sin kind of as a pivot point where they can flex it, and it
Yeah,
kind of just throws INT off the game.
yeah, that's pretty clever. I think that's really smart drafting, being able to get flex picks and be able to take advantage of that flex capability for a squad. Bait your opponent into taking something that honestly won't match up well against what you actually want. So that's pretty clever right there from Spear. But right now
Yeah.
the Wukong taking a little bit more on the damage side, getting more of a push down though. I know Vi's push can be a little slow at first till she starts getting those charges up, or a little bit of levels in there.
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
in the end, the Vi was meant to play weak side. it's meant to be a facilitator for a Team INT. As you can see, she took Aftershock. She's not meant to be this hard carry. She didn't end up taking Press the Attack, not Halo Blades, anything, not going to be bursting down any one of these squishy targets. It's really just, I think INT, when they got screwed and noticed that the Wukong was going to be doing top lane, they just told Brock Lee to play weak side, which isn't necessarily wrong. Which is also why why Bo Explode started on the red side of the jungle, so we could try to get some pressure onto the bot side of the map.
Yeah, we see him hovering around here right now, coming through after the scuttle. They do get the route on to Cheeky right now. Cheeky trying to run away. He's going to get jumped on. He's got to flash out of there. Ooh, takes a good chunk from Kenny. And he's going to have to be a little bit more cautious. May have to back after that one. He's burning pots right now. But on the top side, Big Brain looking to make a play right here by holding it on. She does hold it long enough, smells something fishy in the water. And Big Brain's going to get a little chip out there and back off. Bo, though, he's hanging around here on the bot side. He might try to get something going after he clears those Krugs.
Yeah, I mean, obviously a good look. That's the fruits of Bo's labor from that good pathing in the early game. Gets the gank off. Doesn't get a kill, but manages to get the Braum down. You can see that Big Brain actually tried to respawn on the top side of the map, barely missing that ward hop to stop Brock Lee, maybe having him force the flash. He tried to ward hop in front of Brock Lee to disrupt the queue, possibly forcing the flash afterwards, but in response to that, the ebb and flow of the game, since something happened to the bot side, Big Brain went top, and Bo Explode knows that Lee Sin's on the top side of the map, takes his Krugs, and is now threatening a dive.
Yeah, but Lee Sin is around here right now. If Bo takes any longer, he's going to get spotted out. There's the Q coming in. Bo goes in. He's trying to get one grab, gets the two, slams them together. Cheeky getting very low. It's going to be first blood going over to Bo, but now he's stuck under the turret. He's got a flash to get out of there. Minions trying to hit him. He goes into the blob, and I think it's going to cost him his life as well. A return kill right there going over to Spear. And I'll be honest, I think that was not the greatest dive I've ever seen. It got them first blood, but it's still costing the jungler's life is not a good look. And the assist managed to come through for Big Brain. Ooh. Leshy.
Yeah. I want a counter argument a little bit on that, though. More to the fact that looks like...
Oh, Kenny just the flash kill onto Leshy right there. Never mind everything I just said. That's completely worth it for INT. Let's watch how this happen.
I mean, Leshy just greeting for that EXP, wants the gold, probably just wants enough gold to finish the pickaxe in the first back, but I mean, Kenny still having flash just gets him out of the way, just pushes him aside.
Yeah, and he burned his flash in the process of that too, so both AD carries without it. It's not going to be like a trade flash for life. Come back.
Out.
Ooh, Bo is here looking for Big Brain, but the Braum comes over the wall. They're going to ram them together. Big Brain's going to have to try to smite it. He does get the smite, does get the kill onto the dragon, and now he's going to get out. He's going to flash over the wall. Cheeky trying to maybe get time to jump out, but here comes Vi, and the punches come through. Cheeky goes down. Evolve Noob on the hunt, looking for Big Brain. Brain's got to keep running, and I think he's going to get out. It's not level 6 Cassidon yet, so he can't really chase that well.
Yeah, I mean, sniffed out by Bo Explode, but kind of little panic smitey right there at the end. You can see the dragon drop down to about 70 HP, and Lee Sin ends up picking it up. But I mean, when that dive first started, I think what really could have changed the table is if He Swaps was a little bit more patient. He kind of just threw out the bind before Bo Explode went in. That dive could have gone really bad if Bo Explode didn't hit the E on both of the bot laners. And even after that, I don't think he needed to burn the flash. It was worth it in the sense that he dragged 4 members down and burned the Anivia's teleport, where Evolved Noob got to sit in free farm when he was struggling in that lane matchup and recovered about 10 CS up.
Yeah, now, you got the Varus up right there, sitting pretty nice and mighty. He is looking like he's going to run poke. He does have a little blade for himself. Strokther is how you pronounce it. Oh, I'm always so bad at pronouncing that item, but it's definitely going to be a poke Varus. I guess we could tell a little bit. Well, I guess even his runes, he's running Halo Blade, so he might have been trying for some more auto attacks. But yeah, so poke Varus. So it's definitely going to be this front line trying to buy time, trying to just snipe out one pick to start out a fight, give them a little bit of a numbers advantage. And right now, Diddle kind of got to be careful. Bo and Evolve Noob are here. They are looking for something. Bo goes over the wall. Diddle has been spotted. Bird's got a flyer. It's going to be an ice chicken today. Ult comes through from Brock Lee. In comes the ult from the Wukong. Bird goes into Resurrection. Orphic's going to take down Bo Explode. It's a 1-for-1 trade, and now makes it a 1-for-2. A double kill for Orphic. Diddle trying to run away. Gets the wall up. The flash over the wall for Bo Explode, but he misses the hit. Brock Lee gets the kill. that it doesn't matter. Orphic's coming in and smackdown. Killing spree for Orphic. 3 for that fight. No, 3 for 1 trade in favor of Spear.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good look from INT. Really, Bo Explode knowing exactly where Diddle is going to be, follows him. Of course, Evolved Noob is a little bit far behind, so is Brock Lee, but they just didn't have the raw damage at that stage of the game to actually finish off.
And we got another fight going right here. Big Brain going in onto He Who Slops. The ult coming in from Kenny Hammer Spike. They're going to try to slow him down. He's going to get rooted or stunned in place. Kenny trying to get some E damage right there. Trying to take out Cheeky Penguin. He's going to take him down. Now Big Brain's looking for him. Misses He Who Slops. And here comes Bo. Bo looking for something right there. Gets the slap down. And it's going to be a smack to his death. Big Brain picking up the kill onto He Who Slops as Bo trades him for Leshy. And now it's a 1v1 duel right here. I don't know if Big Brain can take this right now. Misses the Q onto Bo. Hits it onto the minion. He's on the run right now. But Bo is chasing. The jump's coming in. The ward being used to drag him back. But Big Brain's going to walk out just fine. 2 for 2 trade as both bot lanes go down.
Yeah, I mean, both of those fights were exchanges that lasted too long because the enemy team just didn't have enough damage. And INT saw it up on the top side. It was 2v3. But it's... in the end, it's Orphic picking up like 3 kills on the top side of the map, despite that numbers a disadvantage. And then on the other side of the map, because Leshy and Pengu and Big Brain are like dawdling around trying to give the kill over to each other, Kenny Hammerspike is just sitting there CC'd and walks up and autos him for a kill in the trade. And Bo Explode has enough time to walk up.
Yeah, it felt like there was like a little bit of miscommunication on who to focus right there. I think if Cheeky actually had stayed closer, he could have gotten one more basic attack and they might have been able to finish off the Varus before he got the kill. And, you know, made that a 3v2 going afterwards. Maybe they'll pick up that kill onto Bo if they'd been able to keep Cheeky alive long enough. But still, a good trade. You know, back and forth. Spear holding their own right now. This is what we wanted to see. We wanted to see them, you know, get a little bit of a lead for themselves, be able to hold off the fight, get some advantages so they don't fall behind, so they can actually keep up with the scaling that INT is going to bring out. And you know, we talk a lot about Spear being a team that's very focused on Orphic carrying, and he's 3-0 right now on this Wukong. He's going to be a bit of a monster once this tower goes down.
Definitely going to be a big monster. Going to be looking at him probably at the next dragon. Looking with that, the timer's almost synced up. His TP won't be available, but if they move him down, I expect a teamfight win. But it looks like Bo's going in.
Oh, going in right there onto Diddle. Diddle getting knocked down. He's going to get taken out by Evolved Noob. And let's watch the replay on that. Bo. Good catch on to Diddle. Diddle staying around a little too long.
Yeah, it stays around a little too long. I mean, no, he knows he has no flash, but I mean, anywhere past that first line of torches in that mid lane is Bo's territory. That what I expect Bo Explode to have almost a maxed E, and at that range, that's almost max range from Bo Explode. He still has one more point to put into it. It's just an easy pickup on the Diddle, and Evolved Noob is starting to get some ground on this lane.
Yeah, the Kassadin's already level 9. Like we said, level 16 is the GG moment usually against a Kassadin. It's very hard to deal with him once he's got those items online. He's got all that big damage coming out, especially against a team that doesn't really have like a huge amount of mobility. Well, I guess they've got mobility on their top laner, they've got it on their jungler, they've got it on their support, but the carries in the mid and the 80 role, very immobile, very unable to escape if Evolve jumps on them. They're just gonna have to take it in full.
Yeah, they're really banking on Diddle to just zone him out with the ultimate in the walls, and Orphic to just keep him layered at CC with the ultimate. But I mean, it looks like INT didn't back for this Drake, and it looks like they're just going to concede it as they know their comp is weaker at this stage in the game.
Yeah, it's going to go down over to Spear right there. I'm not sure exactly where Bo was on the map, if he was threatening that right there. But Orphic going on to Evolve Noob, you know, getting a bit of poke right there. Looks like they're doing a lane swap. Orphic thinking, you know, he might be a level up, but I am 2 kills up on this guy. I could probably take him in a 1v1. And, you know, Kassadin, not great against melee champions. It's something that especially as he is someone who wants to go into melee range, they're going to just pile onto him. And his shield doesn't really work against 80 damage. This might be a good matchup for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting look on the side of INT is Team Spear has already picked up 2 dragons, where INT normally likes to play this dragon stacking game Of course, the first one was a tragedy. Looks like Boxpo and gang has showed up onto Orphic.
Going in, Orphic trying to maybe grab a kill here. He realizes he's not going to be able to get it. He's going to get the ult down. Big Brain is here to help out, and he's going to go down. Big Brain trying to run away. Bo jumping onto him. The kick almost takes out Evolve Noob as the exhaust comes in as well. But Big Brain missing the Q. He's going to have to dodge. He's had a little bit of trouble hitting those this game. And, you know, it might just cost him right here. The ult flash comes through from Kenny Hammerspike. Bo goes in. He's going to get one Q. Ooh, he's going to miss it, actually. Big Brain going to get there. Cheeky going to get out. Both using their flash to get away. And they're going to be able to live another day right there. Excellent escape by those two. But overall, a 2-for-0 trade in favor of INT.
Yeah, I mean, a good look from Bo Exploding Gang. He used swaps, makes the roam up right from that Fog of War. Orphic is a little bit too pushed up. His most vulnerable state would be in the mid lane after that lane swap, as he kind of came down from his lane kingdom on the top side of the map. Bo Explode unfortunately picks up the shutdown gold with that last W. You can see Evolve Noob's Q coming in, the Dark Spear kind of trying to pick up the shutdown gold. Isn't ultimately able to get it, but in the end, Orphic is shut down.
Yeah, and he's gone back to the top side right now. He realizes, okay, maybe I need to keep pushing this lead. Maybe I wasn't as ahead as I thought. I think he could have gotten out there if... But it looked like he got a little greedy going after Evolve Noob with that first ult. I think he could have ulted and used that to escape, and if they kept going, use another ult to just knock him up again and buy himself that distance. But still, it is nice to see someone still going, okay, I can make this work. I can try to make something happen here. Even if it didn't work out, still, that's still the mentality you want to see. And now, lane's back to normal. But it looks like INT starting to roam towards this bottom side. Evolve Noob looking to maybe try to grab a kill onto Leshy as Cheeky goes back. But Leshy's going to back too. I don't think they're going to get down here in time. And, this is it's only a 2,000 gold lead right now. So not insurmountable for Spear. But this is a late game scaling team coming out of INT, so they really need to try to get an advantage, try to get the claw back that lead a bit, because if that lead holds out for another 16 minutes or so, it's gonna be not a very good position for Spear.
Yeah, I mean the 3K goal lead is looking pretty detrimental, but I mean a lot of that gold is on the
Orphic onto Broccoli. They get the punch out right there, but Orphic's Big Brain coming to help out his friend in the top lane, and now the turret's probably going to go down right here and see if they can make a play. INT can make a play anywhere else on the map. Looks like Bo is coming down. See if they can maybe jump onto Cheeky. Gets the shot in from Kenny. The ult coming in from Leshy. The ult coming back to counter that. Bo goes in. Cheeky grabbing as much as he can, but Leshy gets pulled back. The ult coming through from Bo Exploded on the run right now. Getting very low, taking up a lot of turret damage with the exhaust come through from Kenny. Leshy picks up one kill. Is he going to pick up a second? He's looking to maybe grab it. With the teleport coming in, it saves Bo Explode.
Orphic.
Little interaction. Orphic going in. He is on his own, though. I don't know if he can grab it. Oh, but he's actually just going to sneak off there. I thought it was his clone that ran off for a moment.
Big Brain biddings.
Yeah, the clone buying the time and saving his life. This Big Brain grabs the inhibitor on the top side. INT grabs the turret on the bottom. And I think if Broccoli didn't have his teleport there, that could have ended disastrously for INT. But they managed to make it work. They managed to get out the 2 kills.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of an overdive. I mean, Boxpo had a great setup. You could see the interaction, even after Ash flashed out. Still lands the Q, hits the Braum with it, ties them together. Enough for Kenny Hammerspike to knock down the Braum and try to go for Leshy. But I mean, in the end, the tower was just doing work. Broccoli TP's down to save Boxpo, and I don't know if some of us missed the interaction, but when Orphic TP'd down, he did initially try to go into Boxpo, but Boxpo with a great timed E actually knocked up Orphic and stopped any damage from the Nimbus Strike.
Yeah, that was really clever usage of that for him. We saw a couple of weird interactions there in between. I mean, smart interactions there, especially with the teleport. It's just like Zach's passive blobs. They're kind of like they're exactly like a minion. If you teleport onto them, they cannot die. They have to stand there, and give them the time to respawn, not get picked off by Leshy. Good usage of the exhaust by Leshy, though. I noticed he hasn't taken heal, and that exhaust, I think, really gave him the time to get that kill. He exhausted Kenny when Kenny dived the turret, and Kenny just couldn't get any damage out. But we'll have to hold off on that thought as Spear starting up the dragon. 3rd dragon of the game. It is going to be a Mountain Soul this game. Kenny looking to get some poke there. The Anivia ult trying to buy some space. The wall, too. If Bo goes in, he's going to be on his own, except for Broccoli. Jumps in right there, gets the grab. Fight is breaking out right now. Orphic goes into the back line onto He Who Slops. Trying to get him low. He Who Slops goes down as Leshy grabs the kill, but Bo grabs the dragon, and now the fight is still continuing on. Down goes Kenny Hammer Spike, and the rest of INT is separated. Broccoli getting low, trying to get a little bit of fight right there. They take down Big Brain, but it's going to cost them the life of their top lane. It's going to cost them the life of their jungler, and a 4-for-1 trade in favor of Spear. They lose the dragon, but it's just the first one of the game for INT, and I think that's going to be mid-turret for them.
You can see how this kind of starts off. I mean, Team INT was not in the right position. They're stuck in between this choke where Anivia loves. I mean, look at that ultimate. It comes down and almost covers the entire choke point. Pair it off with a wall. Broccoli barely manages to get around. He Who Swaps walks around. Bow exploit, but look at where Kenny Hammerspike is and Evolved Noob. They're so far out of DPS range. They're not getting any damage down in this fight. And in the end, by the time Kenny is able to walk up, he gets Ash Arrowed, Orphic, and Leshy just jump on him and he gets instantly exploded. Bow Explode and Broccoli are stuck in the middle of the pit. Yes, they got the dragon, but I mean, at what cost? It's a 4-for-1. Only Evolved Noob had gotten out. And at this stage of the game, they wanted to fight the dragon because they didn't want... That one Mountain Drake will probably do a lot. The 6% bonus stats is actually nothing to scoff at. That's good poke from Varus, from anything. Even the Luden's proc, if any of them had a Luden's proc, any of the initial damage. That one Mountain Drake, not to mention putting it at soul point, is so hard for INT to come back from, even if they decide to concede that dragon.
Yeah, they had to fight for it. And, you know, I have to give a lot of credit to Diddle right there. It's his ultimate and his wall that really bought time. Most of INT had to walk around to get into the pit. I mean, obviously, Bugsbud went over it. He jumped in, and we had Broccoli and He Who Slops there coming in from the side. They managed to sneak around the wall. But, you know, those, like you said, those two carries on INT side, the Kassadin, the Varus, they're just unable to get into the pit, even get into the river because of that Anivia zoning. And that's what Spear's looking for. They're looking to use the Anivia not as the kill pressure, but as a zone pressure, as something to buy space for the rest of the team, give them time to take out someone on the front line, the Morgana, the Vi, or the Zac, and then allow them to turn on the fight. And, you know, the dragon, you know, the Mountain Drake's good. It's a start for INT that will allow them to survive that initial burst from Orphic and Big Brain just diving in. But that gold lead, that gold got onto the Ashe. It got onto the Wukong. These are the people you want this gold to be on for this squad. So they're going to have to find a way to pick one of them off, or maybe even both, before the next fight breaks out.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, Evolved Noob has just finished his one item. But the problem I had with INT's comp from the beginning is who's going to get them through mid-game, right? Like, the Varus has good poke, but he doesn't have good consistent damage. The Kassadin needs time to get online. We all know that. And the Brock Lee is good. He has the items, but I mean, he's nothing in comparison to the mid-game carries that Team Spirit has.
Yeah, and those mid-game carries are doing a lot of work. All the outer turrets for INT are gone. Orphic and Big Brain staying around. Bugsbug goes in. There are 4 people right here. The kit comes in to knock Evolve Noob away. The ult coming in from He Who Slops. Gonna try to lock down Orphic. They're gonna try to kill him before he can lock him down, though. Ooh, Orphic dodging Kenny's ult, and he manages to grab He Who Slops. A 1-for-1 trade. Now Big Brain is on the run. The flash from Bo to get that last ult hit in to knock a Big Brain. But he's gonna dash to the ward and get away. And a 1-for-1 trade. Meanwhile, top lane getting pushed in. Diddle on the charge. Ashe coming up. They're going to try to take this inner turret for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, a good look from Team INT. Not netting much. Just stopping the Herald push and burning an ultimate, 2 ultimates actually, from the jungler and top laner on the side of Team Spear. But in the end, it cost a lot of resources from INT. And I think that could have gone a little bit better if He Who Swaps decided to use his Black Shield on himself before actually getting knocked up by Orphic. If he didn't get knocked up by Orphic, I think Big Brain and Orphic would have been tethered up by the Morgana binding and possibly gotten a 2-for-0 or maybe a 2-for-1 on the side of INT, maybe prompting them to go to the Baron. Probably just shove out the lanes because they don't have consistent damage, but in the end, it is 1 kill over to INT.
Yeah, and I think that was just literally like a fraction of a second before those chains would have popped, and that would have been a really clean kill for INT. You saw Kenny dropping the ult coming through to get Orphic. Orphic, though, no chains, means an easy dodge, easy escape. And They didn't get the top turret, but Spear, that got the pressure right there, and now it's on to the split game. It's time for Orphic to drag that pressure to the top, them to the bottom side, allow his team to farm up, and get their late game carry, that Anivia, the one who can just really pop off later, get her a little bit of a lead for herself, so she can, hit her spike before that casting gets there. But they don't spot this ward right now in their blue side.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do that much. I mean, no one's on that side of the map right now, but it looks like Q swaps.
Oh.
9T is going for an engage.
Yeah, Orphic going in onto Evolve Noob, trying to buy some time. Cheeky going forward, thinks he can help, but it's the call to get out there. Orphic going to be on the run. He is going to go down, but Brock Lee is here on the backside by himself. The Anivia is here trying to buy time with the ultimate, buying some space. The wall hasn't dropped yet. Ooh, the flash forward. Double kill going in for Evolve Noob. Spear may have gotten too far forward, and now it's going to be the Anivia going down too. Bo might go down less. She doesn't grab the kill because of the passive, and an ace comes through for INT.
I mean, it's just a total swing of that battle. You can see it starts from the blue side from INT. Orphic really trying to get that choke control pressure, trying to get that blue buff with Cheeky Pingu. Thinking that there's not that many INT members down here, but I mean, look at all the stall there is. A great Orphic ult to knock up Bro Explode from the initial engage, but I mean, he's so far in. The moment he eased inside that team, he's 4v1, and there's nothing he can do.
Yeah, and Diddle coming in really late with that teleport there. He's had it up when he respawned, but he just waits until everyone is already getting fought on. Everyone's almost, like, half the team's already almost dead before he comes in, and he's not able to get his damage out. He goes down to Evolve Noob and Kenny, both of them getting a couple kills there. The triple kill for Evolve Noob is a big deal. That's going to really push the issue with Caston. It's going to push him probably to his second item off of that, maybe even a little bit into his third. Yes, there's the Zanya's coming out. That is unfortunate, though. It's not like a lot of damage. It is Zanya's. They do have the Everfrost, but overall, fairly little damage items from this Caston.
TPing on the dragon, trying to stop this right now. We'll see
yeah, Orphic going in, looking to maybe grab something.
Oh,
Orphic just
turned on the ward. Maybe thought that he wasn't actually on the dragon, but I guessed wrong.
Yeah, just out of vision. Loses the dragon, loses the Baron. Costs him a teleport. And Spear looking a little confused right now. Seem to be in a daze after that team fight. They got to right the ship. The gold has swung 3,000 in the favor of INT.
That's a tilter, Rap. That's a tilter. You can see Team Spear a little bit puzzled as to what to do right now. Kind of just all grouped up in the mid lane, expecting a siege from Team INT. It looks like they're going to go around their jungle, try to push out their waves before the onslaughting siege of INT comes down, raining upon them. But I mean, I'm pretty sure this Caston's sitting at 10 Dark Steel Sacks, finished the tier, and finished Zanya's with that last fight. He's going to be a monster.
Yeah, that was a fight they needed to not lose. They needed to win. If they had won that fight, I think it would have almost sealed the game. That would have put them on soul point on Dragon. They would have gotten the Baron. But now, INT, they've clawed their way back in. They're getting their scaling points. It's going to become a lot more difficult for Spear to get anything done. This Ashe, again, like we said, is not a hyper carry. She's not going to be able to really shred through these tanks, especially because she doesn't have her jungle item. I mean, she doesn't have her armor shred item, and also is running not Kraken Slayer, so it's going to be even harder to kill those tanks. As Brock Lee comes around on the side, looking to posture for this mid turret. Cassidy is on the roam up first. Orphic still caught in the bot lane. Anivia trying to buy space as Bo goes in, jumps in, misses one, gets Diddle, but nothing else to follow up. Bo getting very lost. Yeah, it's going to have to flash away. They do grab the mid turret. Diddle getting super low, and now Bo goes over the wall to flash two from Brock Lee. Bo jumps in. He goes down, though. Diddle grabs him. There's still a turret there. They got to watch out. Evolve Noob takes out Diddle in the back line, though.
Quadra?
And now double kill for Evolve Noob. Down goes Brock Lee, though. Cheeky's going to pick that up. Orphic's here is going to knock up Evolve Noob. Orphic is here. He's not really able to get much done. He's going to have to dash out of there. 2-for-2 trade in favor, I'd say, with the turret of INT. Orphic trying to buy time. This might be another kill for Evolve Noob. He's looking for it.
I mean, INT's really just feeling themselves now. They've hit their power spikes. Bo Explode doesn't even care. He's just the meat right before anyone else. Kenny Hammerspike has picked up the 2 items as well, almost on his third. Him and Evolve Noob are just menaces, just roaming around this rift. A good look from Big Brain, almost hits He Who Slops, but walks away.
And or if it goes really late to that fight, he comes in after the fight is basically already over, so he's not able to really get anything done. And I think that though that's still a good look that Spear is able to manage to make it an even trade, even though it was basically a 4v5. But again, kills going over to this Kassadin. This Kassadin is getting very big right now. He's got his Medjais done, so those 10 stacks worth even more now. Already more terrifying to see that he's gonna basically one-shot anyone he gets on top of. We saw him do that to Diddle in the last fight.
Yeah.
And I think this next Dragon coming up in a minute and a half, I think that'll be the fight that may decide this game.
Yeah, it'll probably happen around the Dragon. It looks like both teams are kind of going into this line of scrimmage, trying to get these side waves kind of pushed out before anything happens. Get as much gold in their pockets, finish those items. But I mean, even as that fight played out, the items are definitely on INT's favor. The next fight, if it's a straight 5-on-5, it's going to look very bad for Team Spear. They're going to have to try to look for some sort of pick with the Ash ult, try to burst someone down. Even what we saw in the second Dragon take, where they kind of choked him out from a point, then Nivea is probably going to be key. Same with Orphic. As soon as he starts slipping up, it looks like Team Spear is kind of lagging behind. And without his initial engage or just some sort of peeling for the team, it looks like Team Spear has kind of lost their game plan and they fall apart.
Yeah, and there's an armor item on almost everybody on the side of INT. You look at the Vi, she's got the ninja tabbies. You look at the Zac, he's got the Sunfires, he's got the Thornmail, he's got two more little plates right there, and he's got the ninja tabbies. Zanya's on the Kassadin. Zanya's on the Morgana. This Ashe is really not going to be able to get much done, and the other two on the team are kind of at burst here and still also don't really have any armor pen. So it's going to be really hard to tear through these guys. Obviously, Morgana and Kassadin don't have a massive amount of armor, and technically neither does the Vi, but they're still very tanky at all. And any bit of damage you can stop gives you time to turn around and fight. That's going to be scary, and that's going to be decided, I think, right here as the Dragon begins to spawn. Orphic in the pit by himself. Broccoli on the wings, looking to maybe dive in for this. No one started up yet. The poke coming through from Kenny. Spear's got to make a decision soon. Kenny's just going to keep firing those arrows of death. Missed all of but one, I think, so far. As the vision going to get cleared out. Dragon is started up by the side of Spear. Bow goes in. That is the call as Big Brain gets hit. Evolve Noob going forward. Ult coming through from the Morgana. They're onto Evolve Noob. He gets low. Bow takes out Orphic, though. The front line is basically gone, but it's a shutdown onto Evolve Noob. And now it's anybody's game. Diddle on the side there. Uses the wall. Hits the stun onto Kenny. Kenny gets shut down. And now Big Brain grabs the Morgana. It's going to be a shutdown. It's going to be a death onto Cheeky. Brock Lee going down too. Bow so low. He's going to die in the snowstorm. And Ace comes through for Spear. And so does the Mountain Drake. They managed to find the fight. They managed to kill the unkillable Kassadin. And they managed to bring themselves back into this game.
Man, it's just tragedy for INT. They look like they get a pretty good engage. Something decent. Especially with Orphic going down to about 20% HP before any of the fight has even started. But on the other side of the map, you can see Evolve Noob dove into 3 or 4 members and just got CC chained. Was in the same situation as Orphic. But unfortunately for the side of Team Spear, Diddle lands a stun onto Kenny Hammerspike, and at 50% HP, he was just basically dead. There's no more damage once Evolve Noob and Kenny Hammerspike are dead. And after that, it's just an easy cleanup for Team Spear. Good slows down from Diddle, good slows down from Leshy, and it was just an easy chase and follow-up.
Yeah, Evolve Noob got just way too far ahead of his team. Orphic gave up his life, but, while Orphic is a big carry, there are other damage threats on the side of Spear. And if you can trade your Wukong for the fed Kassadin, that's a trade I'd take any day of the week. They almost had the right idea, though. It still looked like it might have gone in INT's favor that moment until Diddle managed, like you said, to land the stun onto Kenny, managed to get that wall and trap him in the ultimate. That was the point where it basically was over. And, they do get the kill onto Orphic. They get the kill onto Cheeky Pingu, but that's not the look you're wanting for. And I said that the game was going to be decided at that Dragon. I think it wasn't quite. I think there's still room for these teams both, especially around Baron. It is up now. They're only 1,000 gold apart. Everyone's got their items, and it's getting very close. Actually, looking at the Kassadin and the Anivia, they literally have the exact same amount of items. There's no potions or any pieces in between them. It's 3 in a boot.
Looks like INT's kind of sniffed this out, though.
Yeah, Baron is
Bugs
sniffed
Bud going in
out.
for the steal. Is he going to get it?
Fort, he is not going to get it. He is going to get knocked up, and he is going to go down. Bo going forward. Ooh, Big Brain went in a little bit too far, it looked like, though. Is he going to be able to grab the kill on the Bo? He
Oh,
is
just
not.
barely.
Oh, so close. So very close. But they've managed to grab the Baron onto 4. I think that's an okay trade. And Spear's going to just get out with their lives and thankfully without a steal.
Yeah, thankfully without a steal. Big Brain pulling it out, living up to his name, pulling out those calculations for that Baron smite. Picks up the Baron for his team. Goes in a little deep. But I see flashes all on the side of Team Spear. That's where I'm question mark pinging my team. The boys got me. They don't got him, man. They didn't follow up. That could have been a game wipe. A little bit greedy, yes, but I mean, I would have liked to see it.
Yeah, yeah, a little bit of dive for it. I think they could have probably picked it up. Probably just worried though. They don't know where Kenny and Broccoli are. They don't want to get picked off on the side, jump in, and suddenly 5 people pile driving onto their AD carrier, their Anivia. But that was still a good attempt from Bo. Like that was a very close smile. I want to say that came down to just like 85 health or so. I have to double check that number. But that was super close from these teams, and that's just showing just how close these fights are. We thought that this would just scale out of control in favor of INT, but Spear has managed to find it. They've managed to put so much damage. They're running the full AD Lee Sin, not letting him be tanky. It's damage or bust for this guy, and I think that's helping them kind of keep that game state that from getting rolled over, going on for longer. As Orphic is here on his own, doesn't see Broccoli. Broccoli tries a
Oh,
dash, but he misses, and they just hit the clone. He slops here on the side. Big Brain hits the Q onto him, though. Broccoli and Orphic dueling, looking to fight right here. Ooh, Orphic getting really low, but he does have the heal to keep himself up with that Ravenous Hydra. And now the push is on in the mid lane. There's 2 down here on the bottom. It's just 3 in the middle. INT's got to back up. They don't want to lose this inhibitor turret. That'd be really bad for them. Wave clear isn't the greatest on their team comparatively to Spear, Anivia, master of wave clear. And Orphic still putting the pressure on, looking for something right here. Evolve Noob is down here, though. He's looking to maybe grab a kill, try to dissuade Spear from going any further forward if he can pick off Orphic. But Orphic calls the bluff. He moves forward. The turret is here, taking a light bit of damage. Boag's backing up. I think they're just trying to prepare for a big team fight coming up right here. Spear's going to bounce off that mid turret, though. And actually, no, they're just rotating. It's going to be 2-3 right now. Big Brain, though, keep it in the jungle. Same with Diddle, just trying to clear this vision. Prep, Dragon up in 25 seconds. This is soul point for Spear. If they manage to grab this, those shields, I think, may prevent... Like, it's going to make it hard. It's going to make it really hard for INT to just pick off a target.
yeah, I mean, Spear with the Baron buff is trying to get as much work in as they can. They just wanted to shove in the lanes, really, before the Dragon, try to get some zone control, whereas they can... It's out the second Drake. They can really just hold out these chokes from INT, forcing Boexpo to jump in blind as they don't have any vision set up. That's exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah,
Looks like a TP's coming through from a ball of noob, though, onto the fight,
Yeah,
but the Dragon's
ooh.
already gone.
Yeah, Dragon just goes straight in. INT doesn't even try to contest. It's soul on now for Spear. And they've gotten a little bit of a gold lead. It's not very much, only a couple hundred. But that shield alone and the stats from those all those Drakes, that's worth it. I'd say that shield is completely worth it. That's basically a
That's
free.
plus 3K gold on the graph on
Yeah,
the
that's
Team Spear.
that's basically a free locket.
Yeah, I mean, at this point in the game, it's going to be very hard for Team INT to fight back. Of course, there can be mistakes that happen from the Team Spear. Not only just big mistakes, but just like small things that can happen with wave management. Maybe they get a Baron stolen. Maybe even the Elder Drake if Team INT can hold on to that long. Because the teams, at this point in the game, Team Spear doesn't have to be that worried when they siege things. The only thing they have to be worried about is really Leshy's positioning, or if Orphic is playing that sideline, because they have no real hard engage. They can always Team Spear can always zone INT off their turrets, and if Team INT decides to go in as a 5v4, they really
Oh.
can't respond.
Ooh, he who slops lands the key there. I thought a fight was about to break out, but Spear just shoving into the red side, red jungle, grabbing. Ooh, Kenny manages to steal the red buff. Good for him. Manages to get a little bit of something there, prevent that nice little objective from going away. Baron up in a minute 20. It looks like Spear is just going to get the vision down. They're going to push the waves. They're going to clear out the jungle, leave nothing but scraps for INT as they prep for this Baron. Now they're on the march. pushing towards the mid lane. Bo on the side with Broccoli. They're looking to both go around the side. The ult goes wide from Leshy, and now Bo is in the fight. Hits Big Brain, hits Cheeky. He Who Slaps trying to buy some space right there, but the ult comes in from Diddle with the wall. It's buying them some more time, and down goes He Who Slaps. The fight continuing on. It's only 4v4 right now. Cheeky going down. Big Brain managing to grab a kill. They grab the kill into Evolve New. Bo getting low too. Kenny trying to run. They manage to grab the Lee Sin, but it's not going to matter. Diddle gets a kill on the side, I think. Almost, not yet. Now he goes down. Bo gonna go down, and it's just Brock Lee. A 3-4-4 trade in favor of Spear, just barely. And that fight, it's gonna cost them the inhibitor. I think it may even cost them the game. Orphic is positioning forward. It looks like they might try to go for this. They are gonna push onto these Nexus turrets. Brock Lee against the two right now, the two big threats on the side of Spear. Diddle going golden. Orphic trying to just get the turrets right now. It's going to go down. He is going to grab it. Brock Lee, though, he's going to fall, and it's just going to be He Who Slops. I think that's game. Spear has done it. They have taken down INT.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty back and forth game. You wouldn't expect that from the standings, the 6-3 and 3-6. But in the end, Team Spear ends up taking it over INT.
Yeah, that honestly, I was really surprised. I thought when INT got that ace in the mid game, I really thought this game was over. I thought they had gotten Evolve Noob such a lead. Then they pushed down to the mid lane, gave him even more kills. He got to 8-1. But that fight at the fifth dragon, that fight where Evolve Noob went a little too far forward, it brought Spear back into this game. And looking at these damage charts, you can see the carries, they did work on the side of Spear, and even on the side of INT. You know, Kenny putting out a lot of damage right there, but the Kassadin, not quite as much as you would hope. Unfortunately, wasn't able to hit his, level 16 power spike.
Yeah, I mean, after that dragon where they were up on 3 items, I know Evolve Noob and Kenny Hammer Spike were up on 3 items, really feeling themselves, where they had that fight and they went 2 for 2 in front of that mid-tier 2 tower. That was essentially what could have been a inhibitor breaking play where they could have just collected their third Drake for free, forced them to soul point and choked out the game, but INT kind of just feeling themselves a little bit too much, not playing the safer game, kind of just throwing it all their eggs in one basket. And in the end, they get punished for it. Team Spirit played more patient and better after that. After that mistake where they got aced at that dragon, they really just played safe and played their game better. And in the end, INT bites the dust.
Yeah, and look at that turret damage. Surprisingly, the Lee Sin doing the most objective damage this game. It's not usually something you would expect. I guess the smites do count. They do help out. But usually you think turret pushing, you think the Wukong, you think the Ashe. Really good. Ooh, Wukong. Okay, so it was mostly just like the dragons and things for the Lee Sin.
That's
that Wukong.
The double monkey hit tower.
I think he did more turret damage than the entire rest of the game combined.
Yeah, that looks about right.
That's an insane amount of turret damage. He was the one hit. He was the objective killing wonder. Some say a one hit wonder, but it took, I think, 2 for him to blow up the turrets. We saw in that last fight, and that last fight was looking really good for INT at the start. You know, they'd caught out Spear. They'd managed to get Cheeky super low early on, but the Anivia wall coming up, the ult buying that space, and Evolve Noob just was not there for the fight to start it out. They wasn't able to quickly burst that target, and they bought time for Orphic to come in, and it's unfortunate that they weren't able to catch them there, but still, I got to give congratulations to Spear. You know, they're managing to claw their way back up from the bottom. They're pushing towards they're in the middle of the pack. They've separated themselves now from the bottom a little bit. And they've said, hey, we can compete with these top teams in the league. We are good enough to fight them.
Yeah, definitely good enough to go head to head. Better than what their score entails. And looking forward to seeing more of what they have in the following weeks.
Yes, and that does it for us right now. Don't go anywhere. We've got an interview with Leshy coming up right after this.
Hello, folks. Chris Edgeworth here with our first interview of the day. I am joined by the victorious Hayam Leshy from Team Spear. How you feeling after that big win?
Pretty good. It was kind of stressful at the midway point when Caston got a treble, but I think we brought it back pretty well.
Yeah, you guys clutched it there through the middle to the end of the game after a little stumble, which we'll talk about in a second. First, though, let's set the table for this matchup. So, INT brings out the full make ADC's life hell comp with the triple guys that can leap over Anivia's walls and stuff and hit you from every angle with the Vi, the Caston, and the Zac. You guys put together an interesting comp. You got Orphic back on the Wu, Diddle on the Anivia with the wall, and then you bring out Lee Sin in the jungle. You are on Ashe. How did it feel being Ashe in this matchup? And just talk to me about the draft matchup here for you.
I was fairly nervous playing Ashe into that because I think I picked Ashe before I saw last pick, and so it ended up being Ashe into Vi, Zac, Cassidon, which is not ideal. But going into draft, I think we wanted to play front to back, and Braum is very good at sort of mitigating things for even an immobility carry.
Yeah, Braum is pretty sick in this matchup.
Yeah, so when they lock in the Varus, we saw their match history. This guy, he only plays Lethality Varus. So we knew that their DPS would be lacking if it got into the later part of the game, and Cassidon's their only threat, and we basically have multiple forms of just point-click CC, because if Braum just autos somebody, 3 autos and that person's stunned. So it's kind of like unavoidable. And with Exhaust and Shield Bow, Vi legitimately can't kill me under any circumstance.
Oh, you know what? I was observing that whole game. I just now realized she brought the Exhaust. Smart. Okay. Well, it sounds like you guys, reacted well in your draft. Seeing what happened, you reacted in game, adjusted accordingly. It was a little tentative there through the middle of the game. It was looking a little like INT was starting to find their sea legs on you, starting to weasel some of those dragons back. What was this mid game like? How did you guys stabilize and turn this into a win?
I think Diddles played fights very well, and I positioned very well. I even going into the mid game after the casting got the triple kill, I wasn't extremely worried because I think their bot lane got like 7 ganks and was still behind. So, well, when you invest that many resources and it doesn't pan out, like the rest of the game isn't going to do extremely well for you either, in my opinion.
Yeah, there was the pressure that you were able to absorb, and what we were talking about in the break, like you're able to basically make every one of those dives on you, or all the attention that was put towards your lane, to essentially, borderline be, even if a negligible, outcome in their favor, and just making sure that they're wasting their time and you're just absorbing that tempo and letting Big Brain, one of them I remember you specifically, you guys were getting dove and Big Brain was just like, all right, I'm gonna get this Herald, good luck with that, see ya.
Yeah, but I turned the gank every time, I'm pretty sure. Cheeky and I got a trade kill on every single gank.
I think that I'm pretty sure. I know that you guys were pretty clutch in that bot lane, especially neutralizing Bo's ridiculous engage range, especially since he put together the full armor item Exodia, basically, he was going for. Absolutely trying to shut you down, so you did a great job of handling the pressure. So let's talk about Spear. Yesterday, there was the loss against the Juggernauts, but it was quite a close game, and then today you guys take down another top table team into the trees. So how does it feel going forward from here?
Well, I haven't been playing most of the season, and when I do, I think I played more games off roll than on roll. I could be wrong.
That's the thing. I was like, I feel like I've seen you playing off and on, but I'm like, it's so spotty when I see every game. So okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think going forward we're going to be more and more comfortable. I think I bring a lot to the team. Just in my opinion. I don't think that I've been necessarily behind in lane in the 1v1 or the 2v2 in any game that I've played. In fact, I'm pretty sure I've steamrolled almost every matchup that I've been in.
Yeah, I mean
So-
that's one thing that I Will Dominate was talking about recently, pointing to a different caliber of character, but Kazu on Dead Nation Focus Me, who's subbing in, and it's just like, yo, if you're the sub, just like don't sprint it for your team, don't grief it, you know, just do your job, do it well, and I think you've done your job more than well, subbing in, especially being off role, so respect for that. Hi, I'm Leshy. Thank you so much for joining us for an interview. Do you have any final words before we step away?
Can you guys like stop banning Diddle's champions? Because I'm tired of hearing about it in draft.
There you
But
have
other
it.
than that, no, I'm fine.
You gotta let this guy off the leash a little bit, guys. Get Diddle unleashed. What are you afraid of? Let him out. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us. Folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Game 2.